Hi, honey, how are you? It's Teknikolour. I'm back with yet another speed build for The Sims 4, but this time we're doing something a little more chaotic. I decided to take on Little Simsy's puzzle shell build. Let's check it out, shall we? So this is my very first time doing a puzzle shell challenge, and what that means is Little Simsy, in this case, had created a bunch of different rooms with different sizes and different shapes, and we get to put them all together and then decide how the build should look. And a lot of people took this to mean that you had to keep the interior walls that were made from each puzzle shells. So, full disclosure, we did not do that here. I decided to make a cute little Copperdale family home. So if you have the high school years pack, it's that world, Copperdale. I think I just wanted to do it in Copperdale because I'm very unfamiliar with Copperdale. I've only just started playing high school in one of my playthroughs. I'm doing a Around the World's Legacy Challenge, which I actually wrote with my boyfriend, Cinnabon if you recognize that name from streams. I just started having my Sims go to high school. In my Around the World's Legacy Challenge, each generation focuses on one specific pack, or we live in that pack's world and might do some other like smaller packs. So currently we're on generation 1. We have my founder, his husband, and their 2 twin sons, and they're going to high school now. Their focus is going to be on university. So right now I'm sort of between my founder and the kids, focusing on parenthood and high school while living in Growing Together's world, San Sequoia. I wanted to kick off the Legacy Challenge with that generations sort of style, and then we'll probably end up wrapping it all full circle at some point. When it's Gen 2, we'll be going to university, which is very exciting because I'm only just starting in Copperdale right now. I'm not actually going to live in Copperdale ever. So I wanted to build something in Copperdale because I think the world is really beautiful. I just wanted to build there. I really like this specific lot that I chose, but I have to admit, I did most of this shell build on stream. So it took me a really, really long time to decide on what wallpaper to paint the house. It also took me a very, very, very long time to decide what the floor plan of the second floor should be. So if you were there in any of those streams, I really apologize. I'm really sorry I made you sit through that. I was so indecisive. I just couldn't decide what I wanted to do, and everything that I did, it didn't quite look right. So it was just really frustrating for me, so I can only imagine how frustrating it was for people in stream. Thankfully for you on YouTube, I cut it all out. So if you see some weird like jumps, that's why. I also decided that I wanted to have this really big deck, and I decided that fairly early on when I was putting the puzzle together. I'm really happy with the way that I made such a large, expansive deck, but because of that, it felt very hard to figure out the second floor plan. It was very difficult to decide how to fit in these rooms and exactly where I wanted things placed. So I think that that contributed to a lot of the issue of figuring out the floor plan of the second floor. I feel like playing in houses that were from a shell is very difficult, but maybe not. I don't know. I think it would be fun to play in. It's a really cute house. Maybe I'll change it a bit if I ever play with it. One thing that I really wanted to focus on with this build was I wanted it to be not quite a cottage, but based on the lot and the world, the look of the world in general, I really wanted something that was, it had a lot of greenery, it had a lot of plants, which honestly I say for all of my builds, I feel like if you don't know what to put in a plant. I wanted to have a primary bedroom and a primary bathroom, and then I also wanted like a teen's bedroom because we are in Copperdale after all. Again, it was very hard to fit everything in on the second floor. I'm so happy with the floor plan of the first floor. However, I will say figuring that out took me a really long time as well. Oh my god, I'm just realizing how much time my chat had to spend just dealing with me being indecisive. Although I will say that very first day that we were doing this, we moved the kitchen, I think we moved the kitchen twice, maybe 3 times. And it felt like everyone was just like, "Oh no, try this. Oh no, try this." So maybe everyone was into it. I'm not sure. If you're ever interested in my building in The Sims 4, feel free to check me out on Twitch. I stream pretty much every single day, although I mostly do The Sims on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I stream mornings on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so around like 10 a.m. Eastern time. That's usually when we start. We normally don't do shell challenges on stream. This was probably my very first time. I've been very cautious to do it because I couldn't tell if my computer would be able to handle me streaming and recording at the same time. But we actually got it to work, and I think we wanted to focus on doing that because we were all a little bummed out because I've also been playing through The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And I say that we're bummed out because we couldn't play it anymore. So if you are familiar with streaming, you need a capture card in order to capture console games. So I have my Nintendo Switch and I've been playing it, and I knew that my capture card was probably on its last leg, and there would be this weird sound issue that I was having where my Elgato capture card would sort of sound like the game was underwater for portions, and not for long, just for like a couple of seconds, and then it would go back to normal. But it was very noticeable, or at least for me. I don't know if everyone in my chat would notice, but I would notice, and my mods would notice because they would be like, "Tech, it's happening again." But there was nothing I could do. I didn't know how to fix it. I don't think that it was fixable because that issue has been persistent for maybe about a year now. We also started to have this really inconvenient issue where sometimes if my graphics driver had updated, the Elgato would sort of lose power occasionally. So it would freeze on stream, and then I would have to unplug it, replug it back in, and then I would have to like reset it in my OBS, which is the application I use to stream. I ended up ordering the internal capture card and installing that because I got a lot of good recommendations from people that was the good one to go with. And I didn't really want to have an external because I felt like it was just another piece of hardware on my desk. So we installed it into my PC. That went well. It took us a while to figure that out, but we got it done. We've been able to come back to streaming Tears of the Kingdom, but in that little middle period where we couldn't because it was just freezing every 5 seconds, we decided to take on this shell challenge. And usually I would do this off stream. I would do it by myself, and then I would just upload the speed build. This time I decided maybe we could try to do it on stream, and I could try to test out recording while I'm streaming, and it worked. So very happy and very, very, very thankful to my chat over on Twitch for helping me figure that out on stream, because it's very difficult to test things when you're offline and then hope that they'll work when you go live again, and then if it doesn't, it's very stressful. But everyone was very sweet, very kind, and stood by me while we were trying to figure it out, and we got it to work. You can also see that the kitchen has already moved in quite a few places, and it's going to move again. I'm sorry. I also had my little mudroom started over here, and then we ended up moving it. So instead of it being in the corner, like towards like the edge and like next to the kitchen, it ends up moving a little bit over to the left and becoming a lot smaller. I decided that even though I liked setting up the kitchen here next to the mudroom and having a little dining room, it felt as if the dining room space was very tight, and I wanted that area to be a lot bigger. It felt like I didn't even have room for a dining room table. So while we were struggling with that, I decided I liked my kitchen where it was. I liked the setup of it, but it didn't need to be right there. And I realized that literally just across the way in the building, I could put the kitchen there, and we did that, and I think you'll agree that by the end of the speed build, it fits in that space so much better. Also, with the way I set it up, there's that proximity to the dining room, to the mudroom, to the bathroom. It all sort of flows a little bit better this way. Whereas before, it just felt very, I don't know. Like it still flowed, but it didn't feel as cohesive, I guess. I don't know what cabinets everyone prefers using in The Sims 4, but I have to say, currently I am obsessed with these cabinets from Parenthood. I I feel like I don't want to use any other cabinets. They just look so nice. And I feel as if they just fit in every scenario. I've also been using the growing together tiles a lot for my kitchen walls and my bathrooms, but also using the Copperdale tile for the floors of my kitchens and my bathrooms. I feel like the combination of the two just looks really nice together. So I've decided that I don't think I actually want the Horse Ranch expansion pack, at least right now. I do really like having that wagon wheel exclusive item, but I don't know that it's worth the price point to pre-order the Horse Ranch expansion pack right now, because I don't really have the money for it, and I don't know that I love horses that much to use it. Whereas Cottage Living, I felt like a lot of the build items I really liked. I also liked a lot of the CAS items, even though I'm not really a create a sim sort of person. I'm more of a build person. It just feels like a lot of the build items, at least. Although I have seen a few of the CAS items. They're very similar to packs that we already have, including the Growing Together pack, which just came out. So I think I might pass on the Horse Ranch expansion. So I feel like there's a lot of people who are divided on why they're unhappy about the Horse Ranch expansion pack. And I think it's because they think that it should have been combined with Cats and Dogs and Cottage Living, or at the very least, Cottage Living. I don't know that I agree, and I know that there are people who feel that way specifically because of previous Sims games and how those were handled. This is my very first Sims game. I've never played a Sims game before this, like, ever. So in The Sims 4, Cats and Dogs and Brindleton Bay, that feels like one cohesive pack. And for Cottage Living, having Henford on Bagley and the content of that pack, it all again feels very cohesive. A lot of people are saying that horses would have fit in to that world, especially because with the Horse Ranch expansion pack, we're getting these other smaller animals as well. I don't know that it would have fit in to that world, Henford on Bagley, and I don't think it would have fit into Brindleton Bay. And I think people are saying that it still should have been combined, because I think in previous Sims games, all of those have been combined. But I think it would have been a little bit more overwhelming. They probably wouldn't have been able to put in as much effort into each pack if they were all combined. So I think having separate worlds is very nice. And I don't think that we have a world that is as specific as this new world. I can't remember the name for the Horse Ranch expansion pack. I feel as if the Horse Ranch expansion pack is very nice as a standalone pack, but it definitely feels like they took a little bit of an easy way out in the build items and the CAS items. And I think it feels a little rushed to me. It feels as if things aren't fully ready, especially because apparently the people who have early access to the game or had early access to the game, they're not able to post any of that content just yet. And at the time of me recording this, the expansion comes out tomorrow. So it feels, I don't know, it feels a little bit strange. I definitely feel like there might be a little more bugs in this expansion pack than, say, in Growing Together on that launch. For me, it just felt like Growing Together and some of these other packs were immediate buys for me. Like, specifically, Cottage Living and Cats and Dogs, those were very early pack purchases for me. I felt as if I really, really wanted those Cats and Dogs was probably my very first expansion pack purchase, whereas Cottage Living took me a little while in. It just feels a little underwhelming to me. I don't know if everyone feels that way, but I think that's the reason why I think I'm going to skip on it. I don't know, maybe eventually I'll get it. Especially because I do really like the world. I think that the world can be very pretty and there's aspects to it that I really like, but since there's not as much build and CAS items that really stand out to me and are that different from previous packs, I think for now I have to skip it. Yesterday we played The Sims, and towards the end of my gameplay, like probably about that last hour of the stream, things started to get really weird and things started to get very awkward. Things were acting very strange in my game. It got really laggy. So we decided we're just gonna end here because literally nothing went well. It was actually my founder's husband was aging up and we had his birthday party, and the caterer didn't come until like maybe an hour left of the birthday party, and then made a cake. And then we couldn't add birthday candles to the cake no matter where we moved it. And then I had my founder make a cake and we added birthday candles to it. And my founder's husband blew out the birthday candles and just didn't age up. So then I was like, okay, well, we'll just go home because the birthday party ended, and we'll have my founder make another cake and we'll age him up that way. And it still didn't work. We couldn't add birthday candles to the cake. And then we made another cake. We still couldn't add birthday candles to the cake. So I was like, we're just gonna have his birthday tomorrow. So actually on tomorrow's stream, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time, both my founder and his husband are celebrating their birthdays together, and hopefully they'll be able to age up. But also I hope that they don't age up because they're aging up into elders. And my teens are still only in high school. I feel like things are happening very quickly and it's making me very sad. I don't want the founder of my legacy challenge to get any older. It's just, I can't handle it. I don't know. I'm very excited, especially because there was an update that very last hour of my gameplay, which makes me think that maybe that's why things started to go a little weird. They added in ceiling paint, and they added in a lot of swatches for a couple of the walls, a couple of the floors, and I think at least one fence. So there's a lot of stuff that came to the base game, and I'm very excited to see what's going on with that. But being able to paint the ceilings, I think, is very exciting. I don't think that I'll paint the ceilings in every single room because I feel like you don't normally do that, or at least I've never done that. Like the ceiling in this room is just white, so who knows. So something that I decided that I specifically wanted for this build was I wanted bold choices. I wanted very, very colorful decisions to be made. And I think you can agree. Yeah, I used the decor to the max pack again, but I feel like a lot of people don't like that one, but I really like it. I really enjoy it. I feel like there are some interesting pieces in there that I don't think will work ever, but there's definitely some that will work a lot of the time, and I actually really like them. So I have this very, very big, very bold, very florally wallpaper in my foyer, and I really like the way it looks, so don't hate me. I actually saw a house that I wanted to purchase that had a very similar wallpaper that you would say, I'm surprised he likes that, but I do. Thought it worked. I don't know why. I probably wouldn't make that choice on my own, but for some reason it stood out to me in that house. So having it in this build felt very similar to that, and I don't know. It was kind of like an homage to that house that I didn't get. We're actually looking to move, but I don't think that we can afford any sort of house until I have a full-time job. So I'm actually a graphic designer, or at least I was before I was a content creator, and because of the pandemic I was furloughed, and then eventually my position was eliminated. I don't know, some things are a blessing in disguise because I started doing content creation, but still need to find that full-time job so that I can afford a house so I can move out. I love New York City, and I don't know that I would want to move that far away from New York City, but we definitely can't afford a house in New York City because everything is very pricey when it comes to houses in New York City. So since we moved the dining room out of that space, I decided to make it the living room, which I think makes way more sense. And again, I used a lot of the growing together items. Don't come for me, they're just really good. I think a lot of the items in that pack are probably my favorites and will probably be standard in a lot of my builds. I also have to say that I used a lot of cats and dogs items in this build. I think the cats and dogs items are really good, especially the windows. I feel like they really fit specifically in this build. And I think I used that big picture window twice. I ended up using it in the living room, and I definitely used it in the kitchen. I'm not sure if I used it anywhere else, but I think they really fit, and depending on where you use it, and especially what the view is from outside that window, be really beautiful. And I think this build, I think the view out of it is very beautiful. So it sort of makes me, I don't know, I sort of wish I could live here. Is that bad? Is it ever weird to be working on a build and be like, oh, I would love that. I would love that. I also used this, I think it's from Growing Together bed for the primary bedroom. It's one of my favorites. Sorry, not sorry. I use it all the time. I'm sure everyone has seen it a lot in my builds and is just like, Tech, please stop. I think it's my favorite bed, and especially in that swatch, I just think it looks really good. I also used a lot of the high school years pack items for the teens bedroom, and some of them I was very surprised by because I hadn't actually seen some of these swatches, and I think that they look really nice. I just also think it's strange that the beds sit so far away from the walls. But then I ended up needing to move it even further away from the walls because I didn't want to clip into the window dressings. You can also see that I'm struggling a little bit with the second floor plan. And again, this is with a lot of that struggle taken out. So a lot of that was cut out entirely. But at first I had this very, very, very long hallway from the primary bedroom to the primary bathroom, which was on the other side of the staircase. And it just looked weird with everything that I did. And then I was like, well, maybe I can move the primary bedroom and bathroom over to this side of the stairs and not have the issue, and then have the office on that side. But then it felt like a very large room for an office. So eventually I figured out if I make the walls around the staircase like closer to the staircase, that weird hallway from the primary bedroom to the primary bathroom feels a little bit more normal. I do think that it's probably a little more realistic because there would have just been random floor space that your Sims probably wouldn't even have walked over there ever. I feel like the dining room is both very large and very small at the same time because you can't really fit anything else in the dining room. It's just probably awkward because of the puzzle shell. I probably could have duplicated some of the rooms to make it a little easier on myself and maybe a little larger upstairs, but I really didn't want to. I had already duplicated, I think there's like a 2 square room that I duplicated, I think 3 times. And then I think that there was one other room that I duplicated once. A lot of the decoration and the landscaping for this build took me a very long time, and I'm kind of surprised about that because I think I've been getting better and better with my landscaping and in general with my decoration around the build, like deciding what wall art to use and that sort of stuff. With the landscaping, I feel like I've been getting way better. And with this one, I felt like I kind of hit a wall. I knew that I wanted to use ivy everywhere, and I did use the tool mod a lot to decide on how to arrange things and resizing so that things actually fit. I've also done absolutely no landscaping. Like I've made a deck, I've made like a backyard for my founder build in my Around the World's Legacy challenge, but I've done no landscaping. Like it's very barren at their house, and they're aging up into elders. I need to do something about it, so maybe we'll do a little bit of that on tomorrow's stream. I don't know, it just felt very daunting, and then all of a sudden when I went to do landscaping, everything was dead because it was like It was the winter. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. But maybe I'll use some of these houses, or maybe I'll use some of these flower beds that are built into the house. So at this point of the build, I'm putting the final touches on it, and I always feel as if these speed builds, even though I love doing speed builds, I feel like it's zipping around really fast, and it could be very difficult to see everything. So why don't we pop into the game and I can show you around a little bit better. So I've brought my sim here, and here is our Copperdale home. I think it looks really, really cute. Honestly, I'm very happy with these big picture windows. I think having this one in the foyer area and then also having this one in the kitchen, it just looks really good to me. I love having this window here looking into the living room and out of the living room, because you can also, from this angle, you can kind of see that window there through the door, and I just think it looks really nice. I'm also very happy with the romantic garden stuff over here. I think it looks very cute. I love having this sort of deck over here. I love the balcony upstairs. You come in here into the foyer. There's a closet here. Then you can go up the stairs. The living room, I think, looks very cute. I didn't really show off the bathrooms in the speed build itself, but apparently I forgot to put a mirror here. That's not embarrassing at all. Here you can see the dining room. I also just recently got eco living, and having this item here I think looks really nice. The kitchen is probably my favorite part of the build. I just think it looks so nice. And honestly, I would love this kitchen. I would love this kitchen. I just think from every angle, it looks so cute. I just love everything about it. And it feels as if it would be a nice kitchen to have. Of course, up the stairs, we have this little landing area with a bathroom, the office, as well as the teenager's room and the primary bedroom, which has access to the balcony, and around this little bend is their bathroom. I'm just overall very happy with this build in general. It just looks very nice, and I'm very proud of myself because I feel like I really pushed myself with this speed build, and I hope you like it too. So that is the build. I hope you liked my Copperdale family home speed build, and I hope to see you in the next video. If you'd like to see more content like this, just let me know in the comments below. And if you liked this video, please feel free to subscribe and drop a like. I would really appreciate it. Also, if you'd like to see more of this content happen live and also be a part of the building process, or even just see some of my Sims gameplay of my Legacy Challenge, I stream every single day over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Teknikolour. And we'd love to have you in chat. I'm also doing a couple of other games lately. We've been doing Tears of the Kingdom and Disney Dreamlight Valley and Disney Speedstorm, which those last two are what we're going to be doing today. Tomorrow morning is when we'll be doing more of our Around the World's Legacy Challenge, but I hope to see you in chat, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I will see you later. Bye-bye.